Alright, let's just jump on into some games, huh? This deck is hopefully going to be proof that you can play for Ugin the Spirit Dragon and then 71 other cards and still be reasonable. We have a few different ways to get to Ugin sooner ahead of curve. We've got Solemn, we've got Irencrag feat for one and done blast, we've got some Goldspan Dragons to ramp up a little bit. Goldspan, if you play this on 5, means you can play Ugin on 6, which is nice. We've got a number of pieces of interaction like Bonecrusher, Frostbite, Spikefield, and Shredded Sails to stay alive. So let's go ahead and play some games here and see how this goes. Morning, Taurus. Thanks for the 2 entire years. Come back. Yeah, we hit the pause button on Runeterra until their Wednesday patch. Hopefully their balance is gonna bring some good changes. I've been Lee Sin and Fiorid enough for a lifetime in that game for the time being. Taking a quick breather. Sure. Double Ugin is mediocre if they're not a deck that Ugin is good against, but I've got Shatterskull with Frostbite and Mazemind Tome here sounds good. You know, I'd be lying, Lambton, if that feeling wasn't part of what pushed me to try a little Magic again. I definitely agree that like Lee Sin has a lot of the negative things that I associate with some Magic stuff, and he doesn't have the positives, so yeah. It's like Lee Sin feels like playing against a Magic deck, only best of 1, and best of 1 Magic is really not a good game in my opinion. Faceless Haven's not a terrible pickup. I think we're just going tap land here on this, and then we'll Frostbite this. I'm gonna do this now, just in case they have some kind of pump spell. I think there's a +3/+2 still legal. I can't pay 2 to draw a card with this without bolting. That's not worth it against the aggro deck, so we'll just scry again here, and the next turn we'll get to go Faceless Haven into this. Need help with something, Jacob? What do you need help with? There are Switch games in this container here, and there are Switch games in the container upstairs. And if you're not sure or need help picking one out, please go ask Mommy, okay? She will help you. She is upstairs. Love you, bud. Box! Thank you for the 22 months and for the tier 3. I saw your form submission, by the way. I'm not doing Pokemon VGC stuff anymore. I didn't realize I still had that on the form, and I promptly removed it after your submission the other day. Assume we get Cleave tier and die. Shredded Sails? One time? I guess we just bring in Soul Sear. I want to just trim down some of my top end here. Actually, Storm's Wrath is probably good. I think we want to keep most of the Ugins. Maybe we get rid of one of them. Maybe we like cut the Irencrag feat and Ugin and bring in the Soul Sears is probably the play. Just drag our curve down here. And yeah, cleave is cleave, but at least we get to play sideboard games here. We get to adjust and drag our curve down appropriately. Yeah, seems fine. Getting to play best of 3 as ladder format is also nice. I'm gonna hold up Bonecrusher Giant here in case they have Bernie Sanders here. I shall not be robbed, opponent. You know, I probably should have played the Valakut Awakening on 1 instead of the Shatterskull. I think I'm just passing here. So put any number of cards in your hand at the bottom of your library, then draw that many cards plus 1. Honestly, I think I'm gonna ship my whole hand here. And try and find a deal 3 ourselves. We just do this right away. Without a piece of spot removal in sight, Annex is just gonna allow them to stabilize nicely. Otherwise, alright, so this at least trades with the creature they're putting Cleave on. It's not good enough, right? Decent find. We get to draw a card with this turn. This is 3 turns off of gaining us 4 life. If they equip here, we'll block the 1/1, take 4, go to 5, I think. If they only attack with the 2/2, I think we'll chump block. So we'll eat the 1/1 or we'll chump the 2/2 if they only attack with that. Okay, and this means they're not attacking for the turn, right? Okay, I think I'm gonna scry with this now. So that way, if we find an Ugin, we can play it and cast it. Give us our best chance to do that. I try Streamus. Good morning. So, touch unfortunate that we've been unable to find both Shredded Sails and Ugin in, 18 cards here, plus some scries. Am I cashing in a Faceless Haven as a gain 3? This is hitting me for 10. I think I am. I think I just want to try and not be dead to burn spells. Full blocking doesn't kill this, unfortunately. But they get to order like this. But I get to draw 2 cards. So 6, 8, 9. So if I do this and then Soul Sear this, I can kill all of their tokens with Shatterskull. Oh, this only hits 2 things. I'm dumb. It's not divided as you choose, it's divided between 2 things. But a hot second. Well, that's it probably cost us the game. I assume that was any number of targets. Yeah. Alright. If I don't make that mistake, we can Soul Sear inside of combat, and then they don't have these tokens, they can attack us. Yeah, why are there all these non-Ugin cards in my deck? What's up with that? So if I would have Valakuted first, we could have drawn to a bunch of cards towards Stormwrath to sweep there. I thought Shatterskull Smashing did something that did not, and that lost us the game. Hey, good morning, Billy Boy. Thank you for the 31 months. Welcome back. Yeah, Awakening super playable. It's possible I want more Awakening in this deck. I'm only playing 26 lands, including the spell lands, and I think there's a chance I want 28. I know we just flooded that game, but I think this archetype like this will lose more games to Screw than to flood in the net long run. We also have 4 Shredded Sails in our main deck that just didn't show up in either game that last set. In addition to missing Ugin for 800 cards that last game. I guess. This is a great pickup. This gives us a 2 and a 3 mana play. Curve into this. I'm going to get a rematch against Red Aggro. No play on 1 is good for us. Oh, got it. Just pass here. This way, in case they have a second Endless Dance, they can't play it with haste next turn. It's legendary. They're playing Titanic Growth. Alright. I don't know that we play around Monstrous Growth. I mean, that's pretty good with Embercleave, huh? Cool, +8/+8. Easy blocks here. think with Dragon rolled up in my hand especially, I'm just going to go ahead and Storm's Wrath 1-for-1 here. Like, my mana is spoken for the next few turns, so might as well get that in while the getting is good. Yeah, it's been fun to poke back in, Owl. Is this early, or is it just you? Nah, it's just you. I'm actually starting tomorrow. I'm actually going to be starting earlier than I have been even. My plan is to start at 7 a.m. moving forward. It's currently 20 after 8. Mommy! Thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Gonna go ahead and do this before they can draw a card with both of these. We are kind of spreading away. Alright, if we can dodge an Ember Cleave, we can dodge a ball. Spikefield Hazard's not bad. Could murder this innkeeper now. Nope, Crocs has always had the Crocs has always had the animation that it has. Oh, is this the I have Embercleave good game? And that's exactly lethal, right? This does 10 and 1. You can judge my enjoyment of decks based on the length that we played them on the YouTube channel. I don't know that I really have a particular standout so far. Just want to drag our curve down. I think we're boarding pretty similarly to how we boarded in the last one. Maybe I want more Ugin and less Goldspan Dragon, though. Maybe this is a Dragon out altogether. I guess Dragon ramps us into this is relevant. Bring in Sears and Wrath again. How long has Arena had draft tokens? A year or more? It's been a while. So far, even with four shredded sails, our deck does not seem particularly good against Embercleave. Alright, seems good. We're gonna go ahead and mute emotes though after our opponent GG'd us in advance. Anything safe to craft? Yeah, your dual lands are safe to craft. I don't know. The overall power level of Kaldheim cards seems to be on the low side. Or more specifically, Eldraine remains on the high side. So, like, there's a good chance a lot of these Kaldheim cards don't really get a chance to... Yeah, I guess I'd call Goldspan Dragon a safe craft. A lot of the Kaldheim cards probably aren't going to have much of a chance to breathe until the fall, though. Yeah, I was surprised that they left Cleave in when they gutted all the rest of the Eldraine stuff. I think that was probably a bit of a miss on their part. Well, the Golgari Saga is actually only an uncommon, I believe, so that's not really a card that's safer not to craft. Uncommon should be pretty free, even for most free-to-play players, I imagine. If you've been playing an okay amount. The red-white Saga seems like they'll probably be reasonable, too. I agree with that one. Thanks for the 16 months disposable. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Crunch. I think that's strictly true, Limpton. I think that's pretty overly negative. I think that red-white enchantment will be good in Naya Adventures, if Naya Adventures is good. It still remains to be seen if Naya Adventures can actually be competitive or not. But it'll also just be good in the top end of other aggressive decks. Like, I assume there's a Mardu Knight Shell that card will be reasonable in. I assume that there's a tiny white aggro deck that'll be reasonable in. Yeah, I think this card's super reasonable. We played this in a few things. It's been fine every time. My Storm's Wrathing a Questing Beast? I think so. You want to cycle this? And, like, try and block here? Oh, you mean kill Solemn cycles it? That's fair. Attack like this to start, because you might get 2 points of damage if they want to play around Bonecrusher Giant or our deal 2. I can't block anyways. This attack's not super sus. Yeah, in addition to just being a little bit more generically positive, also, like, yeah, like, Runeterra is not without its faults and its current state. Yeah, I think it was fine to gamble the land there, because, like, we needed land or... what's the word search for? We needed land or one of our deal 2s to get there in that instance, so... They did take one of our Ugins, you're not wrong. Thankfully, with this Frostbite, their next, even if they draw another, they have to attack with a Rogue in order to be able to play the spell with this. So, with this, they hopefully shouldn't be able to do that. So next turn, I get to play Goldspan. So if we draw untapped land, we can Solemn as well. I don't think we're playing that as a land. We're just going to go ahead and Goldspan attack for 4. Hold on to this one as a piece of interaction. How's call time? Alright. This card's been good. Missed a dragon. It is technically what we asked for, even if we don't want to play it as such. I think this is much better off as a spell at this point in the game. Yeah, Goldspan helps scale us up into our bigger spells in late game, so we can get to Ugin quicker too, which is nice. Love of Big Red. Why do I have a what constitutes a love of Big Red? I guess I used to play an archetype called that in Legacy for a hot second. The Legacy deck's fairly different than like what this deck is doing. Morning, Seth. They played a Shatterskull. They have a removal spell for this. Shatterskull does not go face, no. This doubles the X after a bit. That card's kind of scary. So we're definitely just doing this for X's 5, right? Really weird that they played this out. I don't want to like play Solemns this turn and then have them top deck a Cleave and kill us. I think we just deal with their threat here. Sting Beast is probably their best draw at this point.
Perfection is a journey, not a death. Ghost fire, my greatest creation.
Yeah, it's a fine draw. I don't know. It's not even really that good at this point. Like, they were dead. They're dead in 2 to most things because of the Faceless Haven here. Alright, so far, we're 4 for 4 in games against Cleave decks without being unable to find a Shredded Sails, so... What's the other mode of the X-Burn spell they played? It summons a X1 elemental token with haste and trample. That wallops us for a whole bunch. Which is why I was counting their mana to see if I needed to hold back a 2/2 to jump block to survive. It was Porphyros's intervention was the red X spell they played. Yeah, Fireball with extra steps is accurate. The title's super accurate, you just gotta watch a little more. So Mazemind will provide a little bit of smoothing for us here. I don't know that we're going to be able to beat an ideal curve here, though. We're going to want to wait to scry till after this attacks. We have Soul Sear to kill Lovestruck Beast next turn at least. This deals 5. This card gets rid of Indestructible against the 3/1 white guy that gets to discard cards to get Indestructible till end of turn, and it kills Lovestruck Beast for 3 mana, which is nice. Or do they not have another land? I suppose they could have a land, and they just want to trigger Gallia here. She gets to discard a card at random and then draw 2. They do have the land, and they just want to trigger Gallia. B-Mech, thank you for the 39 months. Welcome back. The new set has some interesting designs. It's a little bit low in overall power level compared to Eldraine, though. Have some new toys, but it feels like a lot of this stuff's going to have to wait to breathe a little bit. We're definitely going to Sear Gallia before she gets to attack here and draw them more cards. Let's keep scrying at our upkeep with Mazemind Tome. We're not in a position to beat a cleave, so I know we finally have our shredded sails, but I don't have the bandwidth to be able to, like, I can't just like let them draw cards. It makes them more likely to have cleave and other gas later. I agree that the overall power level of Kaldheim seems good. Hey, Gabzy. Have lots of games on the plate. That would be nice. Thanks for the quarter of year. Welcome back. So far, our Sunday's been a lot of dying to Embercleave. Okay, bottoming that, looking for more answers. We have a lot of lands in our deck. Famous last words. Okay, yeah. So this this hits this. This kills Lovestruck Beast. Yep. Did do a bunch. And this is why it's tough to say too, like, so this is our 4th day playing, and it's our 1st day playing against a bunch of Embercleaves, so like people keep like hammering in, asking for like opinions on the formats and what decks are good, what feels competitive, and the answer is most people sort of answer those questions yet, right? Because like, a bunch of people, I'm sure, like myself, have played a bunch of decks, but the first few days usually are people trying other things, and as the wonder wears off and people realize, like, certain cards aren't playable, more people are going to go back to playing things like Mono Red and, like, Gruul, which of the new ideas are left standing once you peel back the curtain and that's what's behind it is the real question. So what is the format actually like? That's a question. Generally speaking, you need to wait a week or two to answer. Yeah, like you stop like, you know, like your new idea seems okay when you play against a bunch of other new ideas, and then like Mono Red and Grawl rear their heads. They're like, okay, this is like what's actually going on. When the dust settles, it's like, oh, we're not actually good here. Skullord, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Rogues, we've actually played against Rogues a number of times, and Rogues has not felt very good. Over the terms of it being competitive. But I'm playing Yorion, which probably means Storm's Wrath is bad, so I think we mulligan this. I think it's fine. Not amazing, but fine. Skullord, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this morning. Rogues is good when the opponent is neither aggressive nor playing Croxy. Yeah, I believe that. That definitely matches the experience that I had playing that archetype. We had all our interaction that last game and it didn't feel close. That's not accurate at all, Lampton. That last game, I played a card that didn't impact the board on turn 2. I did not play Frostbite, and I did not play Bonecrusher Giant. I think the assessment that we had our stuff in that last game could not be further from the truth, and I think you could make the argument that my keep was bad, and that on the draw I needed a Frostbite or a Bonecrusher Giant for a hand to be keepable. FMALO, thank you for the 11 months, I appreciate that, welcome back. So I think here against a control deck, I'm actually going to prioritize using Mazemind Tome to draw cards, rather than just flipping it as soon as possible, like we would against an aggro deck. I'm going to go ahead and Solemn here. And then we're going to hold on to, because this can only do 4 things. It scries and draws some mix of 4 times, and I think against a control deck I want to prioritize being able to draw. Hey, Rad, thank you for the 34 months and for the very generous tier 3. Welcome back. I think I'm doing this now while they don't have double blue available. Honestly, this Faceless Haven's probably worth keeping, huh? This card should be good in this matchup too. I'm just gonna play my cards out here. Morning heat on. This Faceless is going the distance. It's going full speed. Do I want to play Goldspan? I think so. Getting held hostage by this effect feels really bad. Alright, so if we draw an untapped land, we could drop an Ugin for 10 mana. Did you see it coming? You did not. Speaking of feels bad, get out of here. Bye, friends. See, chat, four Ugins, 71 other cards, mix well. Oh, nice deck. Alright, so the Frostbites are coming out, the Shredded Sails are coming out, the Storm's Wraths are coming out. Everything else lined up there pretty nicely. Soul Sear matchup? It's probably a Soul Sear matchup, huh? Hits Planeswalkers and it kills Yorion too. Killing Yorion seems appealing. It's an Irencrag feat matchup. Maybe Bonecrusher Giant's not very good here. I guess this mostly gets tagged by Conquer's Death, which isn't amazing. It could just be that accelerating's not good here. I just want more threat density. Or more cards that 1-for-1. Let's do that. 57 Eve, thanks for the follow. PN Saloyan, welcome to the channel. Their concessions due to lack of main deck answers to Ugin. I mean, they have main deck answers to Ugin, they just already played 2 of them, right? They, at a minimum, have 4 Conquer's Death. Asmodeus, good morning, good morning. I think, again, similar to last game, we're going to prioritize drawing cards with this Mazemind Tome. They could have a, Skyclave here. Maybe because of Skyclave, I'm supposed to go ahead and take my Scry. Yeah, I'm going to take 1 Scry out of this. Hey, Asmodeus, thanks for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. I put these in because, like, they can trip, and they're, like, okay against Conquer's Death, but I think it's worse than a random here at this point. My deck is confident I want a Soul Guide Lantern yet. It's like, no, Jeff, you don't understand. You need the Soul Guide Lantern, Jeff. I mean, it also just, like, replaces itself. It's like, this card basically has 2 mana cycling. Only you can pay it over the course of a couple of turns. So, like, it's not a terrible draw. So now I have to decide, do I want to play these out as tapped lands, or do I want to prioritize getting Faceless Butcher with the, or Faceless Haven with the land down? I think it's just this, because I don't think I want to attack this into a possible Heartless Act in the short term, developing my first, like, I don't know, 6 to 8 land drops seems pretty important in my Ugin deck. I don't really want to expose this to removal anytime soon, so we're in no rush to get it down, I don't think. Chilker, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Just want to put a little bit of pressure into play here. Getting our hand empty has appeal against Hawks of Agnes here. Alright, I think we just take this opportunity to smack them upside the head with Haven. Both my cards in play I can sacrifice to draw, so... Maybe because I knew this tax effect was coming, I was supposed to play the other Mazemind last turn for 2. Although I guess then that would have gotten tagged by Skyclave. So I need to play something out this turn, or I have to discard the hand size. Wonder if we'll see them kill this so they can bring it back with the Conqueror's Death here if they have Heartless Act. Suppose they could just Yori in it too if they have that. Yeah, opponent still losing life here, which feels good. Got these 2 threats in play still. I assume post-board they have things like Negate and Disdainful Stroke. Is it a win if they counterspell this? I think the answer is yes. Although I guess the downside is if I do this and then they counterspell and then Yori and they kill this without me getting to draw a card. So maybe we Faceless Haven here and attack. I think we're at a point where we're okay losing a land to a Heartless Act. Especially because any spells they cast are losing them life with Treacherous Blessing currently. They do have 3 life in the tank here, so to speak, with the Golden Egg on the table, but... I think that's fine. I get a 2-2 out of the deal. Hey, you know, some of that downside to playing an 80-card deck rearing its head for our opponent. Okay, just poke him in the face for one here. I think I'd rather keep a basic than an extra Shatterskull. They get to bend their Treacherous Blessing. I think this is probably going to be quick enough for them here. And on Valakut and see what we get. That's unfortunate. This will deal a damage to their face. Going on, Astergoth. Thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. Donald is indeed no longer in charge. Yeah, post board, my opponent's density of counterspells increases a significant amount, almost assuredly. So I would assume they have one or more counterspells in hand right now, which is why we're sequencing our less important threats first. Landgraf, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this morning. Like, our opponent's answering all of our stuff, but they're not putting us under any sort of pressure. So until they, like, Dance of the Mansas, a fine spot. Solemn triggers Exploration again, which is cute. This card's looking pretty good. They're hovering faceless, they're scared. They got the fear in them, chat. Okay, and Heartless Act getting spent on Dragon is good for us with our newfound friend here hiding in our mana base.
Greater matters to attend to.
That's very rude. This gets non-creature non-land, so I guess we're YOLOing Ugin this turn then. Oh, you know what? I should have left this untapped so that way I could do this, right? Hey, look, Steve, thank you for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I guess we just do this now. Nailed it. Skillfully declined to draw cards that this would work against. This is gonna get to exile our graveyard though, which makes Ox a bit worse. I suppose next turn we go like land, jam Ox, and then escape the Phoenix. Because we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 mana. I'm gonna see like Omen into Yorion Blink. Alright, Daddy needs an Ugin. Well, they're drawing enough cards, that's probably not going to be relevant. Yeah, we are no longer losing our graveyard next turn, which is nice. We are unfortunately going to lose the Spirit Dragon here to Elspeth's. Elspeth's second chapter. It happens again. They can technically ship everything into Chandra to kill her. But then we have pretty good backswing. There's enough mana for Ugin with the treasure, right? No, I only had 7. Because she cost 5, so 6, 7. Hey, Yildrin, thank you for the 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back.
I'm leaving.
The treasure's only tapped for 1 unless the dragon's in play. Your treasure's tapped for 2 as part of the dragon's text box. You can see them cling the Phoenix here, which puts them at a 14. Much library is left for them? Plenty. They're an 80 card deck. They have 47 cards. Well, that's a good draw. Moldy Locks. Thank you for the 2 years. Thanks for sticking around regardless. I appreciate the support. Welcome back. The awkward part here is that because their deck gets to play this just like incidental graveyard hate here, we're not even in that good of a spot. Because like normally my plan was to be able to grind down with these escape cards, but I think I have to reassess this plan. Like Ox seems like it's just not a playable card if the default control decks are going to have all this main deck graveyard hate. I mean, if my opponent had played well, they could have done this. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they're doing something else with their mana, but I'm really surprised they didn't cling this during combat. So yeah, because my opponent likely made a mistake, we get to bring this back, but under normal circumstances with proper play, this wouldn't have gotten to do anything. Maybe they thought they could cling it in response to me casting it, but that's not how that works.
I did all I deemed appropriate.
They have pathways. Yeah, a lot of the good decks probably won't end up having that many Kaldheim cards in them. A lot of the Kaldheim cards are pretty low power level. There were a few different tournaments on MTG Melee yesterday, and it didn't look like Kaldheim cards were really standing out in the first draft of things. I don't really know that that's much of a surprise, though. Some of the Yorian builds have been incorporating them. Should be exiling enchantments for Dance. Dance is gonna kill us regardless. I agree that Binding of the Old Gods is stellar. Alright. You have a counterspell? Ooh, you have Negate. Otherwise, I would love to draw 3. You do. Sad. What happens if I attack with everything? They have to block everything? They get to block this here. They get to eat one of my things for free, and the rest of their board trades off? I think that's worthwhile. It puts a bunch of things in my bin so I can re-escape the Phoenix. Yeah, they can gain 3 life, but they likely need to block most of my stuff. They're out of cards for Cling to Dust in the short term. Goldspan makes Izzet playable. Whether or not Izzet's playable definitely remains to be seen. It potentially makes Izzet playable, but again, wait and see. Don't make bold claims based on 2.5 days worth of information. Oh, crap. I don't have enough mana with pumping to re-escape this. I'm off by 1. Oh, and this is a mistake that I made. So I should have used Treasure. If I would have used a Treasure, I could have escaped this last turn. When the Dragon, yeah, if I would have used the Treasure while the Dragon was in play, I could have escaped the Phoenix. Using the treasures proactively around the dragon being alive or not is something that's going to take some getting used to with the Goldspan Dragon play patterns. I imagine they're doing all this, and then they're going to escape to exile this, which is probably going to cost me the game. Bonzo Von Zepp, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this morning. Yeah, the auto tapper is basically never going to do what we want it to do in that instance, so it's something I gotta consciously think about. Alright. Well, I mean, this gets rid of their Cling at least. We're not under that fast of a clock at the moment. To our deck's credit, we're like grinding a reasonable amount here. I think I want to put this into play, get it in under a counter spell, not leave it on our hand to be exposed to a discard spell. It's much worse against Conqueror's Death playing it out, but can't beat them all. Gotta pick and choose what you play around and what you do. Should have attacked first, probably. If I'm being honest, I was expecting this to resolve, but should have attacked first. They get 2 Scry 2s. They just top-topped. That's terrifying. Yeah, maybe they would have blocked. I don't know. They didn't block the previous turn, but they also chose not to attack that turn, which would imply that they were likely moving to block. Seems like 8 cards to escape, right? Yeah. Why didn't they just overspend on this to make these 4/4s? Feels strange. Oh, because they were going to blink them anyways. That makes sense. Alright, our super secret alt win con has activated. We are up a game, and my opponent is now under 12 minutes on their clock. Welcome to Yori and enjoy your stay. When will we see the owl costume back? I don't think we're gonna play modern anytime soon. It's not my intention. It's usually safe to assume that I'm winning on clock. I play Magic pretty quickly. This is the final Ugin. It's card number 6 in the bin. Rude. So Bonecrusher Giant's our best draw. Kills this, gets us a 4/4, and then is a threat. Yeah, we do have 2 Chandras. I mean, Magic just has a lot of downtime. There's a lot of the turns that you play in Magic, don't actually have decisions to make. So like thinking through what you're going to be doing on future turns when it's not your turn to be taking action saves you a lot of time. Am I happy with how we sideboarded? Yeah, I think so. Go ahead and run it back. I'm gonna keep this, because I'm not mulliganing to 5 against the Doom Foretold deck. I have a cantrip, and then if we hit land number 2, this can hopefully help us land number 3. Bottom the Soul Sear. We get a little bit lucky, this hand's super reasonable. I think our chances of hitting a land and playing a decent game with this hand are higher than our chances of winning a game on 5 cards against the Doom Foretold deck. So there's a chance we just die and don't get to play a game with this hand, but I think it's correct to keep. Yeah, and their deck also isn't super aggressive, so like even if we miss our second land on 2, if we hit it by like 3, there's a good chance we're okay. I don't think the 3 mana deal 4 get your mana back is very good. The fact that it both is a sorcery and doesn't kill Lovestruck Beast is a big deal. I think Soul Sear is much better because it's both an instant and does that. And the fact that it kills indestructible things also has a lot of upside in the white aggressive matchups. I think the 3 mana deal 4 give you your mana back is a good example of a trap card. It's a card that people are going to play just because they have snow mana, even though it's not very good. Untap Upkeep, thanks for the follow, welcome to the channel. Well, our opponent sitting here disconnected when they're now under 9 minutes. We could get them on the clock. Yeah, I don't really want to win on clock though. I'd like to actually play a game. The individual value of this match isn't worth anything, right? It's not like we're playing for anything significant. The ladder rank really doesn't matter. The ladder resets in, what, like 3 or 4 hours? Not not only does this kill a questing beast holding a cleave, but it can kill a questing beast before the questing beast hits you because it's an instant. I'd been doing highlight videos on YouTube for my Runeterra content, and I was thinking about if I wanted to do highlight videos for Magic, but I don't think I'm going to because the amount of editing it would take to make a Magic highlight feels like a lot because there's just so much miscellaneous downtime. And I feel like cutting that downtime out and like removing those bits of the conversation that we're having would be awkward too. Because I'm usually talking during all of that downtime as well. I mean, we're playing best of 3, Resident. So yeah, you play a bunch because we play best of 3 on this stream. I don't enjoy Magic as best of 1 game. So I feel like that second game in that set convinced me that Ox is not where I want to be in life. Basically the exact matchup where I wanted this for, the fact that they're playing Graveyard Hate means this doesn't get to do what I wanted it to do. I think that just means I want Chandra in the main deck. She sits there and draws cards for us while also having some utility. Maybe actually I kind of wanted some more lands. Maybe we just cut those and play the full set of Valakut Awakenings. This card's been reasonable so far. I don't hate that. This is a card that like helps us not screw, but it's also great when we're flooding a little bit. Yeah, let's do that actually, and keep the Chandras in the sideboard. Like it. Actually, be decent in the sideboard versus Rogues. I think I'd rather have Phoenix of Ash versus Rogues as a more aggressive threat. That's why I've got those in the board. Alright, so likely a Binding of the Old Gods deck. So generally speaking, I like to save this to draw cards in the Yorion matchup, but I think there's a good chance this is going to get killed before it gets to draw 4 cards, so I'm going to go ahead and take my scry with it right away. Nom nom. Valky has felt super reasonable in the games I've played with him so far. I think we're just stomping their dome here. I think Binding getting used on Bonecrusher Giant is a net win for us. I think we just go ahead and jam this here. Grateful Dead, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Oh, they're missing a land. I think I'm supposed to play one of these untapped and cycle this. Do you have another? The fact that the third chapter on this card exists purely so it can be blinked by Yorion is real annoying. I think my health total really matters here, so I'm going to shock this in to cycle this, and then we'll shock this in and play Ugin next turn. I think it's wrong to kill this against the Conqueror's Death deck. The Giants cards don't seem like an appropriate power level for the format, Vector Fiction.
I come bearing the wisdom of the ancients.
Definitely on the weaker side.
You are too dangerous to
One of the things that feels a little bit awkward about the we don't have blocks anymore is it feels like a lot of these designs have a hard time getting fully fleshed out.
power without it. I will destroy if I must.
It feels tough for them to get all the themes into a single set.
And all I deem appropriate.
Not putting the binding into their graveyard has value against their deck that returns a lot of things. And again, I did the thing where I played out my threat into their Conqueror's Death with this staring me down. I don't know. I'm gonna be done with this deck. Our deck doesn't seem very good. I don't think our deck is competitive against these Yorion piles. It didn't feel very good against the what's it called decks either. I'm gonna move off of it for the day. The slow, grindy game plan that we have is just much, much worse than Yorion's grindy game plan against the aggressive decks that are trying to Ember Cleave us off the face of the earth. You just can't draw Shredded Tails consistently enough while also having other meaningful interaction against them. So this deck overall felt like a pretty big miss, and I don't think I'd play it again.